to come today. And I want to welcome everybody to Jewish Learning Ventures series of webinar while you've been in quarantine. So grateful that you're all taking the time to learn and to challenge yourself. I know it's a long time indoors, and it's good to get your creative juices going. And we're so grateful to Jewish Learning Ventures whole community inclusion program for helping to provide us with these great webinars. Today, I'd like to introduce you to Alanna Raffel. She's an occupational therapist and accessibility consultant. She has her master's degree from Thomas Jefferson University, and she's worked in acute rehab and early intervention from ages 3 to 5, outpatient, and also in school-based settings. And we're so lucky to have her. She's kind, she's warm, and she's super smart. So, and fun. So there you go, Alanna.
Thank you. It's never not weird to hear yourself like introduced. Hi everyone. So thanks for having me. I didn't plan this like very formally. I'm just gonna kind of show you a couple things that I've been creating for my students. And I kind of want it to be sort of hands-on because I think it's best if you just kind of do it along with me. So I don't know what kind of devices you're on. It'll be easiest if you're on a computer, or at least if you're like on Zoom on one thing but you have a computer nearby. So I've been doing some teletherapy since this is my first time doing teletherapy. I've like avoided it all these years, and now here it is. So I'm kind of trying to figure out what works best. And so one of the things that I've been using is like some people call them like escape rooms. That's probably like not the best term, but I've been creating these activities in Google Forms, and it's been a really fun way to engage my students. There's all different kinds of things you can do with them. So that's the main thing that I want to show you today. And then I'm happy to answer any questions and kind of troubleshoot with you because I think it could be really fun in your classrooms. Has anyone utilized that before? Okay.
Have you been to an escape room on your own, like as an adult escape room? They're pretty fun.
So to be honest, like again, the first version I made of this is like kind of an escape room model that looks more like an escape room. It's like you have to unlock the code and you have to find the key and whatever. But then I kind of started veering away from that model, and now they're a little bit more just like, one is like about baking cupcakes or whatever. So I'm gonna send you a link in the chat to the ones I've created, and I want you to just choose one. There's 5 of them. Just choose one to go through just so you can see what I'm talking about. So I just sent you the link. You should see like a list, and it'll say like escape room 1, escape room 2. So just choose any one. It should just take you a couple minutes and just go through them. I'm just muting some of you because I'm hearing a funny noise, sorry. And just go through them and go through one just so you can see what the deal is. And then when you're done, if you know how to do a thumbs up on your Zoom, or just give me a thumbs up when you're done so I know, or indicate in some way. And if you're having any trouble accessing it, just type in the chat or let me know.
I took 32 hours out of it. I can't hear you.
Hello.
Hi.
If you're just joining us, I'm just gonna put a link in the chat. I don't think you can see the chat from before you were here, so I'm sending the link again. I'm just showing you an example of the escape room, quote unquote, project or activity that I've been creating. So just click on that link and you'll see there's 5 different escape rooms you can try. Just choose one to try to go through, just so you can see what the kind of activity is. And when you're done, give me some indication, like a thumbs up or clapping or some indication in the chat that you finished. All right, so I'm assuming you're still working on them because I haven't seen any thumbs up or indication in the chat yet. So if you can, when you're done, just show me that you're ready, just because I can't tell if you've finished or not. All right, one thumbs up. All right, I got 2 thumbs up. Do the rest of you still need more time? You could just nod or. Someone said, I think. Jen, do you need more time?
So I did it and I kept getting it right, but I don't know how I was right. But I was seeing, like, I was doing the messy room, the lock thing with the brass letter, and I don't know what any of that means, but do we have to understand it to do what you're asking us to do?
No, did you get to the end of the activity?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, then you finish. Just to see the concept. Like, this is,
okay.
I created it, it's for my student, you know, it's an OT thing for my students, so it's fine.
Gotcha.
But, yeah.
Just yes, I completed it.
Great. Maybe you learned something along the way. Yeah, the one that's like the messy room, I created specifically for my students based on like how I teach them letters. So that I forgot about that. There's like a grass, sky, and dirt letter thing that we do. So that's in there. All right. Do the rest of you guys need more time, or you're finishing up? You're good. All right. I'm getting some thumbs up. Awesome. Okay. So that should give you some sense. I don't know if all of you, which ones you all did, but the messy room one is the one that's like the more escape roomy one. It's like find the lock and the key and whatever. The rest of them are like not quite so escapey. They're just kind of like, let's bake cookies. How much flour do we need? And there's like and you have to figure, or matching, or, you know, so I used all different kinds of, it's a lot of, because of what I'm working on with my students, mine are a lot of like visual perceptual kind of activities. So it's a lot of like matching and being able to find one thing in a crowded, you know, picture, being able to like follow a line. So there's a lot of visual perceptual stuff. But I wanted you to just get the gist of the activity and the way that Google Forms can be used to like play a game, basically. Does anyone have any questions before I start to show you a little bit about that? Feel free to unmute yourself if so. Okay, cool. All right, so I want to show you quickly how to use Canva. Has anyone used Canva before? One person. Okay, so I'm going to show you quickly Canva because that is the main thing that I use to create these games. So, all right. Can you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this is Canva. It's just canva.com. I finally gave in and got a paid version of it because I was using it a lot and I just wanted access to everything. But you can use almost everything with the free version. I just wanted like all the bells and whistles, but you do not need to do that. You might, like me, get really invested in it in a couple of weeks and like desperately want it. But anyway, so you can just use a free version. I'm just going to show you a couple really easy things that you can do with it to create these kinds of graphics that I did in the escape rooms. I'm going to keep doing this because most of them are not really escape rooms. So here's Canva. I've used it for all different kinds of things. I've used it for like Instagram things. I've used it for presentations. It's really wonderful. There's like all these templates. It's great. For the escape rooms, I don't even really get involved in templates. I kind of always just click on presentation. So first I go to presentation just because it's like easy and it gives me blank space for what I'm creating. So apologies for my slow computer. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. All right, so you have a blank space in Canva, and this is how I create those fun graphics that I use in the escape room activities. The main elements that I use, so by the way, this is if you wanted to make a presentation, which is another fun thing you can do with your students, these are all the templates for that, which I like, there's so many, they're very cute. So the main things that I use for my activities though are elements. So on the left side here, elements is basically like cute pictures. So you can see I was obviously making a Jewish learning venture thing recently because I have all these Jewishy pictures up here. So the way that I usually find pictures is I just like search. Let's say I'm like doing a Shabbat thing. I can just type in Shabbat and it comes up with all these pictures. When you're using the free version, you'll see like a lot of these say pro. When you're using the free version, you either won't have access to the ones that say pro, or you have to like pay $1. Like every once in a while when I had the free version, I would just like pay $1 to get like one particular image. But there's usually a lot of free things anyway. So let's say I'm like gonna do a Shabbat escape room activity. What an interesting concept. So I can use any of these different elements, like, you know, whatever, Kiddush cup, anything. So let's say maybe I want to do like a challah matching exercise. So I'm gonna get rid of this. Maybe what I'll do is like, okay, let's say I want to do like in the snowman escape room, I did one that's like pick the snowman that's different. So let's say I want to do for this one, I want to do 3 of the same challah and 1 different one. So I have 3 challahs that look like this and 1 that looks like this. So we don't need to stress, like, I'm not going to get too involved in this, but I just wanted to show you that these are the elements. There's all, you can literally, I mean, search anything like apple, like, and you'll get all these different, so that's elements, and they're mostly like graphics. There's also, sometimes you'll get ones that are like moving. I haven't figured out how to use those yet, to be honest, so maybe I'll figure that out. So that's elements. The other thing I use is photos. So sometimes I'll want like a real picture of something, and then I can go to photos, and it can give me all these different kinds of real photos. So I have photos, elements, then the third one here is text. There's all these cute little like pre-made text things down here. So you can click on those. This is going very slowly, but so then you can just adjust the text here. So maybe I want to say Shabbat Shalom. I can use this to expand it. I can copy it and change the size. I can change the font, but you know, you can mess around with that. So that's text, but you can also, so these are like pre-made little text things, or you can just click add a heading, move it over, you know, type in whatever you want, change the font, change the color, all that kind of stuff. The last thing that I use is uploads. So that's if you want to upload your own picture, your own graphic. So like here are some JLV, whole community inclusion pictures from a Sukkot thing. So I uploaded these pictures and then I can put them in as well. It's really easy. You just click upload and you can upload any of your pictures. So the 4 things basically that I use in Canva are photos, and that's like their photos, elements, text, and uploads. So I want to give you a couple minutes to just play around with Canva for like 3 minutes. Just try to create something, maybe for your students, maybe not, that incorporates all of these things or a couple of these things. If we haven't gotten into the Google form thing yet, so I won't make it that complicated, but just open canva.com, try it, and then we'll do that until 2:22, and I will answer any questions you have. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, but I'm right here. If you have any questions, just unmute your mic or raise your hand, and I'll help you. So Canva on until 2:22. I'm just putting the link in the, it didn't make a link for some reason. But it should work. All right, so finish up whatever you're working on, and then we'll come back. All right. Does anyone have any questions or thoughts about Canva? Do you like it? Is it fairly user-friendly?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Nice. Wait, did anyone create anything cool in the 3 minutes?
Emotions on a good little thing about emotions. That's what we're doing now with our kids. I really wish I had known about this kind of app 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find the exact worksheet that I wanted, like online, and going through Pinterest and going through Google Images. So I was ended up using like Word and just literally taking a picture and putting it where I wanted to make my own worksheets, because we don't really use worksheets during the year, but we have the last 3 months. So I really wish this would have been great, but this is like our way of school.
Well,
the next quarantine, I'll be set.
Yeah, next
God forbid, right?
Right? This is great. Yeah.
Well, good. Yeah, I found it to be really helpful. The only thing it doesn't do that I wish it did, and it looks like they might include this some days, you can't like, there's no drawing tool. So sometimes like sometimes I wish I could just use like a drawing tool to like connect things or whatever. There's no drawing tool right now, so that whenever I've needed that, I'll like create what I'm making in Canva, and then I download it like as a PDF, and I can draw on it in Preview. On Mac it's Preview, but or there's always some app you can or program you can use to draw on something. So I had to do that a couple times where I just download it as a JPEG or a PDF, and then I can do what mess around with it a little bit more. So that's the only thing it doesn't do that I wish it did. The other thing I was trying to figure out prior to this is I haven't been able to figure out how to use Hebrew yet in it. So when I'm using like writing something in a font, I haven't figured out how to like even when I downloaded a Hebrew font, you can upload your own fonts to it, and I uploaded a Hebrew font, but it still comes out in English when I type with it. So if anyone figures that out, please let me know. So I instead, since I couldn't figure that out, what I ended up I wanted to give you this option. I know you're seeing my drive right now. Do you see Canva now?
Yeah.
Okay. I can never tell, like sometimes when I share my screen, it like stays. Anyway, so what I did is I just used this like Hebrew keyboard, which you can like just type in, so I would just type in like Shabbat here. And then take like, again, like, I don't know the legality of screenshotting stuff from the internet and using it, but theoretically you can just screenshot this word, Shabbat, and then I can go over to Canva and upload that. So I just screenshotted that. Now it's on my desktop. So now I'm uploading it to my uploads. There it is. So now I can, I mean, I wish I just like had that as a font, but worst case scenario, I can create things that have Hebrew words in it that way, or Hebrew letters or whatever.
Excuse me?
I have a
You can
question.
also use Nakdan. You know Nakdan?
No.
Nakdan, it's very good. Nakdan Morphix or something like that. And then
Okay.
you can do exactly the same, and you can also put the vowels because it's Nakdan.
Oh, okay, cool. So that's like another website you can.
Yeah, and then you just write it and then put the vowels and then just copy,
Cool.
just like what you did.
Oh, with the screenshot. Okay. And
I
Jen.
have a question.
Yeah.
Did you just screenshot just a portion of your screen?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm never sure what you guys can see. Yeah. So I did like, I don't know what they call it, but yeah. And I like highlighted exactly what I wanted.
Huh. I've only like screenshotted a whole screen and then cropped the image to get back to the
me
small
too.
part that I wanted.
Yeah. So I don't know what it is I don't know what kind of, on a Mac, it's like Command-Shift-4. And that gives me like a little, funny little like, almost like a bullseye thing.
Yeah.
That I can screenshot just whatever I want on the screen.
Wow, that's great.
If you Google like, do you use a Mac or a
No.
PC? So if you just Google like PC take a screenshot, should give you a couple different options for like how to take like an actual, or someone on here might know some. I'm like a weird kind of tech savvy where like I know some random things and I get some things and then some things totally blow past me. So that I do not know, but it would be easily Googleable. So anyway, I just wanted to show you. How, like a kind of, until I figure out how to use the Hebrew font on Canva, this is one way you could do it. Okay, so that's Canva, and that's like the basics of how I've created these escape room activities. So now I'm gonna go to Google Drive, because this is where we'll actually create a question that has kind of takes you to two paths. So if you've ever created a survey, or sometimes surveys are like this, where it's like you answer a question, like let's say the question is, do you have a car? And then there's two answers, there's yes or no, and answering yes takes you down like one pathway in this survey where it asks you questions about cars, and answering no takes you down another path because those questions won't apply to you. So thank you for putting that down in the chat. So that's how many surveys are, and that's how this Google form activity is too, that you can create it so that you make a question and then different answers will lead you different ways. It's a little confusing without seeing it, so I'm gonna show you. So I'm in my Google Drive. I don't know if you all use Google Drive. I assume most of you have dabbled or heavily used it. So I'm just gonna click new, And then I'm going to go to more to create a Google form. Okay, so bear with me because the first time I did this, my brain felt like it was kind of a lot because you have to sort of keep track of your questions and where they go. So just let it like flow over you at first because you sort of just have to do it a couple times to get used to it. So don't stress too much if it doesn't make sense at first. So I'm going to make it, well, let's make it simple. So let's call this activity like test JLV activity. Woohoo. I usually put something in the description like about what it's going to work on, like this will work on Hebrew letters, like this activity. I mean, I guess this is when like I send them out to my students, so I kind of have to explain more, but if it's just you're sending it, I mean, you don't necessarily need to explain all this, but let's just say this activity focuses on Hebrew letters. Because I'm doing this in my JLV email, it's doing this like email address thing, but yours won't say that. Okay, so I usually do a first question on so this is what like they'll see on the first page. And I usually put a question that's like, are you ready to play? Are you ready to get started? Something like that. And then I only give them one option, and that option is yes. So then I click required. This is almost like second nature to me at this point, so I have to like slow myself down when I'm explaining it. So I click required, and that means that they have to answer the question. They can't proceed without answering the question. So this is what the first page is going to look like. I'm going to show you the way that you see what you've been working on is by clicking this eye right here. So this is the preview. So now I can see what I've been doing. So it shows me this is what it would look like to my students. I can click, are you ready to play? This is all we have so far. I'm not going to submit it because it's like not very much. But theoretically, so this is where we're at. And this is what it would look like. Okay. I'm going to show you how to make one question, and then I'm going to let you mess around with it a little bit so I can answer your questions. So if I just kept adding questions, it would all be on the first page. Like if I just clicked this plus sign, add question, this would just all be together on the first page. So I don't want to do that. I'm going to delete this. What I want to do is add a new section, and that's like a new page. So this little equal sign at the bottom here is add section. So now I have two sections. So theoretically, if they click yes to are you ready to play, it will then take them to the next section. So let's do this section, let's call it Shabbat, because that's the Hebrew word I was practicing. And let's say I mostly do multiple choice questions. So this is just the section header. And this is how I add my question, this little plus sign. So I already have multiple choice in here. And let's say my question is, which word says Shabbat in Hebrew? Okay. So let's say I want to have 4 options. I think you probably could, I haven't done this yet, but I could probably change this to like a Hebrew keyboard and just type my answers in, but I don't know offhand how to use a Hebrew keyboard on my computer. And the other thing is that I like to use fun little pictures for them to answer, which you might have seen in the activities. So instead, I'm going to give them fun little pictures. So I already have Shabbat. Let's make some like fake words now that are the wrong answer. Okay. So there's one. So that's the wrong answer. Let's do another one. I'm just doing random letters. Okay. And then some other random letters. Here we go. All right. So now I have my answer. So I'm going to go back to my form, and I can upload pictures as the answer. So here I have add image. So I'm going to browse. My pictures are on my desktop because they're screenshots. So you can see that that's the right answer. So which word says Shabbat in Hebrew? That's the right answer. I want to add another option. Maybe I'll just do 2 for now, actually. I made a bunch of fake words, but let's just do 2 for now. This one's wrong. Okay. All right, again, I know this is kind of like wacky at first, so just watch and I'll help you work through it. So here I'm on my second page, this is Shabbat. It says, which word says Shabbat in Hebrew? I have option 1, which is the right answer. Hopefully I spelled it right. And option 2, which is the wrong answer. So I'm going to make this question required. And now I'm going to click these 3 little dots, or what some people call a snowman. And I'm going to click go to section based on answer. Okay, so this is what I was talking about with that survey thing. Like one of the answers will lead you one way and one answer leads you another way. So far we only have our first 2 sections. We don't yet have the sections created where this would take you. So I need to create one section that says right and one section that says try again. So remember this little equal sign. So this, I can make this fancier. Usually I'll make a little graphic that says that's right or try again. But for now, I'm just gonna write try again. I'll make another section that says right. Nachon, if I could figure out how to use Hebrew in here. Okay, so now I have these sections. So I can go back to this question. So if they click Shabbat, that's right. So I'm gonna take them to section 4. If they click this fake word, they're gonna get to try again. So let's say they click this fake word, they're gonna go to try again. We don't want them to continue to the next section after that. We want them to continue after, if they get try again, we want them to go back to this question to try again. So let's take a look at this in preview. I always have to like continuously go back to make sure I'm doing this right. Okay, are you ready to play? Yes, click next. All right, which word says Shabbat in Hebrew? Let's say I got this wrong. I'm gonna click this one. It says try again. So I'm gonna click next. Here I am again. Which word says Shabbat in Hebrew? Let's get the right answer. That's right. And then I could submit it. That would be like the end because that's the only question I've done so far. Okay, I know that probably seems a little all over the place potentially because it can be a little bit complicated, but I promise it will make sense. I want to let you mess around with that so I can answer questions, but does anyone have any questions now? Yes, Jen.
I'm sorry. So is there a way if you could like really kind of funnel this down into a really fundamental version to use like say really young kids and have identifying like letters and have it be like an error-proof kind of self-correcting test or activity?
Yeah, so I'm trying to think of the ways I've done that. So I'm trying to think how you could identify, because I haven't figured out yet how to put like sound in this. So I wouldn't know how to do like what letter makes the sh sound.
It would just be like letter identification then.
Yeah, like maybe a matching thing. Like, so actually, let me show you something.
Or picture. Could you do something with pictures where you've got blend
So
like? And we can
like
work
I've used
with
Cahoots. I tried making like a test on Cahoots, but there was no way to make it like self-correcting. So if you got the wrong answer, you just got the wrong answer.
right.
Right.
And
So
Alanna,
yeah,
we can work with English. You know, we can work with the regular alphabet if it's easier for everybody because I think that most of you are teaching preschool and.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Oh, that's good to know. I was like really racking my brain for like making everything Hebrew. So yeah, so the way that I've made it like self-correcting is that it always goes back to the question. Like if you get it wrong, you always go back again. I've also done it where like if you get it wrong, I'll create like actually I'll show you. I'll create sort of like a little symbol that shows you the right answer. So let's say like there was this one that was like a matching snowman activity, and when you got it wrong, there was like a little snowman holding a sign that's like try again, and that snowman holding the sign is the right one. So then you see the right snowman, then you go back to the question. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can show, yeah, it's in the snowman activity if you go back to that. But so the other thing, let me show you actually, is that you can add pictures as well. So instead of only adding questions, you can add photos. So let's say I wanted to add a photo. Actually, let's say I wanted to do a matching thing. So instead of saying which word says Shabbat in Hebrew, let's say I wanted to do which word matches. I can add a photo here. So let's say here's add image. So I'm going to add an image. Browse again. Here's Shabbat. Okay, so I'm gonna just, the way you move, you can move things around. And so the way you move things is these 6 dots right here. And so I'm gonna put this above. I think I can, yeah, I can make this larger. Okay, a little blurry, but so I can add, this is just like a freestanding image. So I'll show you what that looks like when we preview it now. Okay, so now we have our word Shabbat, and then we have which word matches. So then, so this doesn't do anything, this image. It's not a question, it's just a freestanding image. And then you can select the right answer. But again, like if I have to try to do some self-correcting, if I click the wrong one, usually I'll put something here that has like the right answer, and it'll say try again, and then it takes you back, and then you can click the right answer. So it just like always loops you back around to the correct answer, which again is one of those things that like, if your brain is like mine, I have to sort of like take my time to like loop myself back around. But so this always will take me back here. And the way that you do that is by making sure that you have all these like things checked off. So you always have to have go to section based on answer checked off, so that you always have to have these sections ready. And that after the try again section, that always has to go back to the question. So it's always just like making sure that you like line everything up. It takes a little while at first, but once you get the hang of it, that starts to make sense. Does anyone have any other questions offhand? You can start to make this like super complicated and get really like involved with it, or you can make it really simple and straightforward. But the kids, I mean, they have responded really well to it. And what I have done with them is I'll do it on Zoom. So I'll pull it up on Zoom, and then I can give them control of my screen, and let them, so then I can see what they're clicking. So I don't know if that's what you guys have been doing in Zoom, but I always just pull it up on my Zoom, give the student control, and then I can watch what they're doing. Mm-hmm. So that's what I like to do. But I can also, like, there have been times where I just like, one of my students is clearly very bored and is just like messaging me on Class Dojo constantly. So I just like send them to her and I'm like, here, do this. And then she submits it so I can see when she's completed it. Okay, I want to give you, I have a feeling I can be helpful, hopefully, by answering some questions. So if you're up for it, which I believe you are, try it out. So go into Google Form, and I can, as you go, just ask me whatever questions you want, because I want it to make sense. So give it a try, go into Google Form, and we can sort of troubleshoot as you go. But the goal is to create one question. So you can use Canva, or you can even just simplify it and just not deal with Canva right now and just make your question like, is the sky blue? Yes or no, just to play around with the format. But just the goal is to just create one question and then two sections that have right and wrong, basically, and make sure that it loops back around correctly.
And I feel like some of you are doing some one-on-ones with your kids and your parents, and this would be a really great way for, parents to see what their child can do and for you to assess it as well. So
give it a try, and I will be right here to answer questions. Ellen, are they able to share their screen?
I don't know. I'd have to, I guess maybe if I made them all hosts.
Yeah, I feel like there's usually like, advanced share. Oh, okay. I think I just made it so everyone can share their screen.
Okay, great.
So if anyone's like having trouble getting through something, just
share
your screen. All right, I think I did it. It was in like if I click the little arrow next to share screen and then advanced sharing options.
Okay, great.
I haven't gotten any of my kids to share their screens yet, but maybe next year.
Yeah, multiple participants can share simultaneously.
Yeah.
Okay, we're good.
Yeah. Oh, are you putting your hand up, Crystal, or was that a question? Okay. I can see you. How you guys doing? Does anyone need any help? Is it making sense? Cool. If anyone has their like first question and sections and wants to show theirs off, that would be cool. Does anyone have a good one?
Jen, maybe your son can like give you a good grade. Did good. What do you think? Did mom
He
do
thinks
all
I'm not paying attention to the training. He says, well, you're done. You're not doing the work. Well, I'm actually doing what you're doing.
I like it.
I'm not her son.
This is my nephew.
Oh, your
That's my
nephew.
Yep.
All right. Well, you're lucky to be there.
How old are you?
8.
That's cool.
Good age.
Are you done with school or are you still more?
I just got finished.
No.
Well, for the day. He's not finished for the year.
Yeah, our last day is Friday.
I think mine's in like 2 weeks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a lot longer than me. Where do you go to school?
Jenkintown Elementary School.
Gotcha. Has it been hard doing it online?
A little.
Yeah,
We get less work.
that's true. More time to play,
Yeah.
which is for the best in some ways.
Hey, this is
That's
I want to press H.
Will someone share their Google form if
I
anyone
would love to see it.
got to finish?
Do any of these people know jelly?
No.
Why?
All right, so when you create the section with the, like if you're right or wrong, do you have to keep recreating your right and wrong? Like if you're onto like your 4th, 5th question, can you go back to section 2 each time, the wrong?
I don't. I wonder if you could, but no, because usually like that first one that says try again, that then takes you back to the question.
So each one has its own loop around.
That's how I do it.
Okay.
There might be a secret special way that's simpler than that, but yeah, so I create every time I create a new right and
Don't
wrong.
even remember me.
No.
And you'll see, like, if you go through one of my escape rooms, you'll see usually the right and wrongs, like they're specific to each question. Like I mentioned, I usually have like a hint, like the one that says try again usually has a hint. So when they go back to the question, it's easier. I also, if I have extra time, I'll sometimes create, this is like unnecessary, but sometimes if I want to make, so if the first version of the question had 4 answers and they got it wrong, I'll then create a new version of that question that has only 2 answers. So it's like if they get it wrong, then it takes them to the easier version of the question. So you can like mess around with stuff like that and like create, or I'll make like, there was one, the animal park one, it was like try to figure out what animal it was. And the first one was like a little bit hard. Maybe there were 4 animal names that all kind of were similar animals. But if they got that wrong, it took them to an easier version that was like, what is this, a giraffe or a snake? And it was like, so it gave them a simpler question. So it can kind of like, if you really like get into it, you can like adjust to kids' levels. How's everyone else doing? Oh, Jen, sorry, you're on mute. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
That's
So
fine.
when you get the answer, if you select the wrong answer, it takes you to the section that's the try again. And then the try again takes you back to the section 1. Like the wrong answer doesn't take you to section 1. It's the wrong answer, new section, then back to 1.
Here, let me show you again.
I'm doing this from my phone, so I'm not sure if it's the same as the computer.
Oh,
yeah.
that's right.
Yeah, it's definitely easier, I'm sure, on a computer. But yeah, so this, so my try again. So it says after section 3. So let's say they got, I mean, you can also, another version, again, there's like a million ways to do this, but another version I did, instead of going to like it just saying try again, it literally like brought up the question. So you can like copy an entire question. So like when I'm here, this button says duplicate. I could literally copy this entire question. And so let's say here, I'll show you. So I want to make a new section. So this says try again. So I can, if I'm here, instead of going to one that just says try again, I can take them here and it will already be the next question. So, or already be the same question. So here, if I get this wrong, it already has the question again. So try again, which word matches. You just have to, it's the same thing. You always have to like qualify it. So here it is. Again, I'm gonna have to make this required. Oh, this is already copied, so it's fine. But like, so this is that try again section. It has the question right here again. The correct answer takes you here, and the wrong answer, I would honestly just go right back to the same thing, like loop around again, theoretically. So I could get rid of this section. In that case, I would delete this section. So this would take you to try again. Here's the question already. I know it's like seems really convoluted sometimes and like cyclical, but that's kind of how it is. So yeah, that actually might be an easier way to do it, where you just already have the question ready to go. Did that answer your question, Jen? Okay. I know we only have a couple more minutes, so if anyone else has questions, or I'm happy, I created like video tutorials on this, so I'll send those to Ellen and she can send them out, and you're welcome to, I'm gonna put my email in the chat, and you're welcome to email me questions. You can send me your forms and I can help you figure them out.
Alanna, it's so good to learn something new because, you know, it's been a long quarantine and I think we've all mastered Zoom and feel, you know, good, but it has its limitations, and the kids certainly get Zoom fatigue. So when they get to see a different screen, whether it's with Canva graphics or, you know, a Google form with new buttons to push and things to connect, it certainly challenges them.
Yes.
So I think
for sure. Yeah. I feel like anything I can do with my students has been really helpful in keeping them engaged. And
this webinar is recorded, so that'll be up on our website as well. I'll be able to send you all the links, and thank you, Alanna, for sending resources that I can share. I really want to thank everybody for taking time out of your hot and crazy and stormy day to be here. And gosh, keep staying safe and strong, and thank you for everything you're giving to your kids and what's to come, because it's going to be it'll be a good thing when we get up and running. So it'll be great.
Yeah, I'll hang around for a couple more minutes if anyone wants to chat about any, I mean, you're welcome to ask me any questions about OT or whatever, or Canva or anything.
Do you primarily just do this one-on-one, or have you done this with a larger group?
So I've done it. I have only, you know, I have small groups of kids that I have for OT. Like I've been seeing up to like 3 kids at a time. And when I've done it in groups, I'll just have them take turns. So I'll just say like, all right, it's so-and-so's turn for number 1. What's the, you know, I just have them take turns. I've also done it with older kids. I've done it with like, I'll just send the form in the link, and I'll say like, all right, everyone click the link and do this right now. And I'm waiting to see when you submit it, because you can, you know, see everyone's responses. That's with older kids. So with younger kids, I just usually have them take turns. It's best, I'm probably best one-on-one, but I've certainly done it with taking turns.
Okay.
Yeah. I hope it's helpful. I know it takes a little practice, but now that I've done it a few times, it feels really like intuitive to me. And it's fun that I can make them kind of quickly. Like I can literally, like if one of my kids is like interested in some subject, like one of my kids was like, can you make one about cupcakes? And I was just like, okay. And I made one about cupcakes. And that's been really fun just to get them engaged. Like it's just way more fun for them when it's something they like. And I'm happy, you know, to kind of create personalized things for them, because it just makes our time together much more productive and meaningful. So even if I have to do a little bit more work on the back end, it's been a good use of time. And if you just do it a couple of times, it'll become more intuitive.
And just learning how to, you know, that Canva is such a good resource. It's just so many things.
For sure. Yeah.
It's great.
You know, that's why I eventually gave in and just paid for it, because I used it so much.
Yeah.
Zoom learning cards is a way that has like interactive, it's like an interactive worksheet that you can also like do the share screen and the remote access to. That's what I've been using.
Yeah, I've been trying to figure out Boom cards, and it hasn't like quite come to me yet. Like I've been trying to figure out how to create them, and it's like I don't know why has not been intuitive.
Well, I've been just getting like the already made decks.
Yeah.
There's things that I really would love to do, but right now my focus has to be somewhere else.
Totally.
So it's like, okay, someone else did this for me already. All right, click, add that to the cart.
Yeah.
So I have like my whole class set up with like 30 different decks that they can choose
great.
from.
Oh,
And it also tracks their progress and like,
Yeah.
how they're doing, which ones they got right, which ones they took the longest time answering. It's really kind of neat.
yeah. I need to start looking into it more because it's very. I hadn't heard about it until like a month ago. It's like really new to me, so I need to learn more about it.
All right.
Well, thank you guys so much.
Be well,
Please
everybody.
don't
And keep
hesitate
in
to reach
touch
out.
and look for the resources. I'll send them out and the recording. All right. Take care. Thanks
Thank
again.
you very
Laura.
much.
Really appreciate it. Thanks for your time. Bye-bye.